Today I'm sharing this really joyful little project. Look at it, isn't it beautiful? Hello, I'm Claire from Creative the Ottaway. I'm an absolute craft addict based in the UK. My first love is definitely papercrafting, so I'm going to show you today how to fold, cut and create the Ottaway. Whether you're a beginner or just need a crafty fix, I'm going to walk you through this step by step. No stress and just crafty joy and a little bit of fun along the way. Big hug to my lovely Crafty Otter Club members. Thank you for watching. It's lovely to have your support here. Just drop me a hello in the comments so I can reply to you. So what do we have? This is, well, I don't know what to call it really. I've just called it a ribbon tie box. My son has recently got married and there was lots of party favour designs going on, and this was sort of one of those. It didn't make it to the wedding, but I absolutely love it so much that I'm going to share with you today how to make it. So I've called it ribbon tied gift box because it's the ribbon that keeps it together, tying it there and there. Okay, and it's quite clever in that it opens out and this ribbon is inside, so whatever is in this piece here weighs down the ribbon in order for you to tie it. I've put some love hearts in here, but actually it could do with something a bit bigger, so maybe a pair of socks, a scarf, something like that, that will just fold in there, whereas these are all quite loose, if you see what I mean. So if I tip those out and move those out of the way so you can see how the ribbon goes across there and through. So it goes through that outside bit, inside the box, and then it goes into there and out of here and there. So when you pull that all together, it ties it round just like that, and you can tie it close. Now if you wanted to, you could put some magnets on the back of these pieces, because there's like an area you could hide it in there, and then you could put an extra layer on here just to keep the box closed even if the ribbon's untied. But I don't think you need it. The other thing that I really love about this is I've designed it so it will fold flat. So if you leave your embellishment to the last minute, depending on what the box is for, you could make a whole load of these like that, and you could just store them flat. I think it even will go up smaller. So just like that, store them on the shelf in a box and just pull them out when you need them. The other thing is it doesn't use too much paper. So you've got some designer series paper on the top and then just on 3 sides, and that's it. But how lovely is that? Shall we create it together? Okay, so here's some measurements for you. Like I say, I've called it a ribbon tied gift box. I might change that. I'm trying to think of a better name, but that's what it is at the moment. You've got 2 pieces of cut card to make it. Obviously we're going to make some holes for the ribbon. So the tools that I've got is I've got my paper trimmer, I've got a craft knife, although if you've got one of these little punches that makes a little slot like that, you probably will get away. I've got a pencil so that I can see where the mark is, some scissors and some glue. Scissors, glue, pencil. I've also got this, which is this little embossing tool. You can use the scorer on your paper trimmer, but I like to use this because it's a little bit more accurate. And that's it really. I think that is it. So I've put it in centimetres and inches. I'm going to use centimetres today when I'm talking out loud. So if you've got subtitles on, it will be the centimetres that you will see. So shall we create together? So I've gone for some scrap paper in my box that is like that. So I've gone for a colour card that coordinates. These are Stampin' Up colours. Just really love the fact that their paper coordinates with their card, so it just makes it easier for me. So A4 sheet, because I'm in the UK, and I'm going to cut a piece of card off that is 6.5 centimetres. So I've got the shorter end at the top and 6.5 centimetres all the way down. Okay, and then I need to turn it because I want it to be 29.5 centimetres long, which is basically an A4 sheet, but I'm just going to check. 29, yeah, that's okay. I think there's a tiny fraction. Do I need to take that off? Let's take it off just in case. So 29.5, and my paper trimmer is turning around like that. It's been well used, this paper trimmer, in the last few weeks with all the wedding stuff that's been going on. So you've got a piece of card that is just like that, 6.5 centimetres by 29.5. Now we're going to score on the long side. So really simply, if you're doing centimetres, get rid of that cutting blade and just use your scorer at 6 centimetres, at 12 centimetres, at 18 centimetres. It's going to be hard for you to see. 24 centimetres, 24, and 27. And that piece is done. Okay. So if I move this out of the way for a second. So you end up with this, and this is actually going to be the wrap around. So we're just going to fold those over. You'll see straight away what I mean by wrap. And these ones that are close together, they're going to fold over there. I'm just going to use my bone folder to flatten that down. And then that's going to fold over again. So effectively what you do is you have that piece, so it's like a square, and then you've got this bit folds on itself because that is going to make the front bit of the box. So this bit here, okay? And I've double folded it. You don't need to, but I quite like it that it gives it an extra neat finish rather than just a cut end. So I quite like the fact that it's on that. That bit's done basically. We've just got a little designer series paper to put on the top, but that's it. So I bring my paper trimmer back in, and this time I need a piece that is 11.8 centimetres. So 11.8, and I'm going to cut this time all the way up. 11.8. Oh, you can see my paper trimmer needs a new blade. Look at that. Okay, 11.8. Because why does it need a new blade? Because it's leaving sort of a rough edge along there. So I'm going to turn my blade round and see if that gives me an extra bit of life. So there it is. I spin it round that way. This may or may not work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't when I've already done it once or twice. So 11.8, and this time I want it by 26 centimetres. So 26 there, and again 26. Oh, see, it did work a bit. A much smoother edge. So 11.8 by 26. Now on the short side, so bring it round to this, I'm going to score it at 6 centimetres. So remember, not the cutting blade, we're going to score at 6 centimetres. So it's almost in half, not quite, but almost in half. And then I'm going to turn it round so the longer side is at the top. And this time I'm going to score it more or less the same as we did before. So I'm going to do it at 6. I'm going to do it at 12. I'm going to do it at 18. And 24. Okay. Okay, so then we've got a little bit of working out to do. So this is the bit that you might want to pause, get a drink, and then watch this slowly. Okay, you know when there's always one bit in the video that you're like, what, can you do that again? And you have to rewind it and watch it a few times before you get it. So this is that bit in this video. So we want to work on the side that is 6 centimetres. So I'm just going to find out what side that is. Yeah, it's this side. So the side that is 6 centimetres, we're going to make some tabs. Okay, so the first one is, now which way around shall I do it? I tell you what, the first thing we're going to do on the 6 centimetre side is we're going to score up, we're going to cut up on each of these lines. So we can do that easily because we just put it back at 6 centimetres. We get our cutting blade and we go up. Okay, so I've cut up there. I'll just bring that down a little bit so I know it's right. And then we're going to do it at 12. Again, so the score line should be lined up. We're going to put the blade down on this score line, okay, and we're just going to make sure that this is now a tab. Can you see? So that's like a tab. This one's like a tab. We're going to do it at the next one at 18. We just have a look with our eye to see if that is the right place. Okay, so there is now one at 18, and then there's one at 24, wasn't it? Okay, so that's the last one. Okay, right, now what do we do next? Let's move this out of the way. So we've got our piece of card, we've got these flappy bits here which I'm going to call the tabs, and we're going to cut some bits off first. So the first thing I am going to do is I am going to cut up to there, like so, and then I'm just going to spin it around so I can see it, and then I'll lay it down so you can see. Okay, so I've cut off that piece there. So I've got my little tab here and I've cut this bit off here, okay? And the next thing I'm going to do on this, I'm going to cut across here. So it's just about there, which is a centimetre, 2 centimetres. Shall I have a look what it is just so you know? 2 centimetres-ish. So I've got a tab there, and then I'm going to do the same on this end. Okay, so that's just going to go there. Okay, so now if I put it all back together for you to see, so I've cut those off those two have stayed whole, and then what I'm going to do is turn these into tabs by cutting the corners off. So I'll cut them off and then I'll show you what I mean. That's going to go there. Don't pull your card because you end up with little, it doesn't look so nice because you've got pulls on your card. So keep cutting until it falls away. So what did I mean by making little tabs? So there's a little triangle that I've cut off there. A little triangle that I've cut off there. Can you see that? Okay, it's quite good with the yellow because you get to see. So that one's been done. Now I'm going to do the same on this end. So I just bring that up and go in at an angle. So you're cutting off a triangle. And I'll do the same here, just like that. So you can see that I've cut the triangle out of there. And I've cut a triangle out of there. Okay, so that's that. Now these two bits are a bit different. Let's move all that out the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a score line from here across to here. Okay, so I use this as my guide, which is why I use this tool. So I've got my little embossing tool there and I put it on the cross part and I go up to the corner just like that. And then I go back and do it on the opposite way. So there to there. Okay, so it's got a cross on. Now this side of it here I'm going to keep, but I'm going to cut this side off. So I'm going to cut straight across there, following my score line, just like that. So I've cut that bit off, but this triangle has still got a score line in it. And I'm going to do the same on this one. So I go from this point to here, just about there, just like that. And then I do the same again. Let's move that out of the way. There to there. Okay, so this time I'm going to cut off this side. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it around so that I can cut it. Just like that. And then it looks really strange. Can you see? You end up with this really strange piece. So you've got these two flaps with a score line across, these two flaps and this one. So I'm just going to burnish all of those now, just by folding them over with your fingers or using your bone folder. I'm just going to make the paper aware who's the boss. Where I want it to go, what I want it to do, that sort of thing. So that's going to go there, and that's going to go there. Okay, and just making sure that that's lined up as well, just by eye, because you don't want no overhanging bits. Okay, so if I bring that back round like that, what was that, wasn't it? So I'm going to glue this bit together. So this bit is going to have some glue on it. I actually think I'm going to cut this bit off as well, just so it's a proper tab on the bottom as well. Okay, so let's bring that there and bring that to it, and then that will give me that nice box shape. Okay, so there it is. There's my box. Now the reason we've done this is because we want the box to be able to fold up. So I'm going to tuck them inside because I want the inside of my box to look really nice and clean and no tabs or anything on it. But now what I have to do is have a look, and can you see, let me tuck that out the way. I'm going to glue this bit onto here, but it overhangs quite a bit. So before I glue it, I'm going to cut at an angle, okay? So I fold that slightly, and using my scissors, I'm just going to guesstimate, okay? Let's have a look. So if I bring that back up, yeah, it's now behind it, okay? And it's the bottom of my box, so no one's going to see. So I do the same with this one. So that's going to go there. So I need to take a bit off of that side. So I'm going to do that the same. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's the same. The inside, it still looks really good. There's no bits. Oh, do you know what I've just seen? After saying the clean lines. So the tab that I put on the inside, you meant to put on the outside. Hey ho, learn by me and my mistakes. It doesn't really matter, but it just means that that tab will be on the back and no one will see in it. So the inside of your box will just look really clean with no folds. Okay. So let's stick this down. So we've got this bit here, this tab here. I'm just going to put that on there. Bring that across, like so. not quite right, is it? Let's see if I can get that off, because it's not gone right to the corner. Good thing Tombow glue gives you a bit of wiggle room. Okay, put a bit more glue on that so it sticks. Oh, what's happened? I've done it wrong, haven't I? Oh, that bit's right. Let's cut that edge off so that it doesn't overhang on that bit either. That bit goes in there. Oh. So, I'm going to fold that in, stick that on there. Goodness me, I've made this far more complicated than it needs to be. I might have to refilm this. Let's have a look. Right, I fixed it. So can you see how that goes inside like that, and at the bottom it just looks like that. The reason that we're doing it is so that your box can fold flat, okay? But when it's closed, there's a bottom on it, just like that. Is that what we did on the other one as well? Let's have a look. Yes. Okay. Maybe we don't need to refilm it. Just remember, when you're putting your tab around, put it round the back piece and not the inside piece. Okay, so if we bring this back, what we're going to do now is decide where this piece of our box goes on here. Okay, so this is the front, this is the lid, so the next piece is here, and we're going to stick this box onto there. So I'm going to put it, so my tab, because you can see it now, I'm going to put it at the front, whereas normally the tab would be at the back hidden. So this is the piece that is going to have some glue on it. Okay, just on that side, just like that. And I get my square and I basically just line my box in it. Just have a little bit of look round, make sure it's lined up. I can see it's over one side. Okay, just over a little bit more. And then I just press it down, because I can, because it folds. And I just make sure that it's glued in place. Okay, so let's have a look now. So that comes over like that. Oh, that goes up, that comes over. Ta-da! Okay, so the next thing we need to do is make our slots for the ribbon to go through. So luckily this one you can do 2 pieces of cards. I've got this hole punch. This again is from Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to guess where the centre is, just about there. Did I do it that low? I'll do it quite a bit lower, so I'm going to put it there. So I'm lining up the top of my punch and I'm trying to get it in the centre, and I'm just going to punch like that. So that gives you that. So I'm going to stick that down now, because I've punched through it. Okay, that's going to get stuck there. I'm just going to go over that with my embossing folder that I put somewhere. Here it is. Okay, just like that. And that now makes a nice neat front of the box. Now this bit goes up to here, okay, and that bit comes down, but I don't want it in the same place. I want it a bit lower down. So let's put the pencil mark where it is in the middle, and I'll see how far. Is that gonna, if I did that, how did I do it on here? I did that. Did I do it with the scissors? I didn't. So I think that if I did that, it would just be there. So I'm going to need to do it with my knife. So let's line it up again. So it needs to be here and here. Okay, because I want it to be in the same place but down a bit. And then I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to cut out that. So I'm going to do the long side first. So either side of my pencil mark. And then like a rectangle. Let's see if that will come out. Nearly. You've got to do quite a bit of pressure on it to cut through the card. My card anyway, because it's fairly thick. So I'm just going to lift that up. So that bit's come off. So I'm using the side of the knife's blade to just trim, rather than having to put a lot of pressure on it, like so. That's that bit. Okay, let's have a look now. So that's in line. And then what I need to do is do it on the one underneath. So I'm just going to do a pencil mark on the one underneath. Okay, like that. Now this one, a nifty little trick is if you put a rubber, if you've got one of these erasers, if you put that underneath, okay, you should be able to press through without fear of cutting your fingers, because the knife is going into the rubber. Just do it sideways. I was so excited to get this box out to you, that we're learning together. Okay, that's gone a bit, not so great, is it? Let's see if we can make that look a bit nicer. And trim that bit off. Yeah, that's got that bit out. Let's see what's left. Okay. I'll put it from the inside. Don't forget, this is going to have designer series paper on. Okay, let's see if that lines up now. Yes, it does. So there's my box, done. Ta-da! Whew. Did you feel the waves coming off me? I was very nearly stressed from that. Let's put some paper on now. Okay, let's pretty it. So I have got some of this paper that goes rather nicely. I need 3 pieces that are 5.8 by 5.6. I'm just going to have a look. So that looks like 5.8. Oh, let's have a look. Like 5.6. So height wise they're 5.6, 5.8. So if I do them all in one go, they should all be identical. So 5.8 by 5.6. Let's have a look. So this one is going to go first. I think, going to go and get a yellow pin just to do around the edges, okay? Because it's got a white core, so bear with me. Okay, so all that means is that because the paper has got a white core, oh look, that definitely needs trimming. That needs, my paper trimmer needs a new trimming, new cutter on it. Let's see if we can cover that on the inside. Okay, so I've gone round that one and put some glue on it. Let's see if we can get this stuck on the side. Which way round was it? Was it that way or that way? I think it was that way, wasn't it? Yes. Oh, that's nice. So that is going to go on there. And Tumbo glue means I've got a bit of wiggle room on it. Like so. Just like that. So there's one. And I've forgotten already, was it 5.6 or 5.8? 5.8, so this one is 5.6. Okay. Put some yellow around the edge, just like that. Okay. And again, this is going to go here, that way round. So what I decided was not to cover all of the box, but to put it on the three sides and to just put it on the lid. I felt like that gave it a much more expensive look rather than covering the whole thing in designer series paper. Okay, so there's two sides. Now this side is 5.6, but we're going to do something a little bit different to this side first. Okay, so we're going to look at which way round it is. It's that way. Yes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tuck it inside because we need to mark where this little hole is. Okay, so I've tucked it inside. I've done a pencil mark. Then I work out where this goes, just like that. Okay, and that should, fingers, toes, eyes and ears crossed, line up now. So if you haven't got one of those little punches, if you put this paper on first before you do this hole, then you're doing it all in one go. Does that make sense? Any questions, just leave me a comment and we'll work through it together. Okay, so yeah, that lines up. Perfect, can you see? So now that goes on there, that goes on there, and I just need to put a bit on the top. So the top bit is slightly bigger, so it's 6.3 by 5.8. So is one of them 5.8? No. So we want a 6.3 6.3 by a 5.8. Okay, let's move that out the way so you can see. Move these bits out the way. Put the yellow bit all round just to get rid of that white core. Get rid of those fluffy bits. Okay. If I had more time, I'd get a little bit of sandpaper just to get those bits off, but I can do it afterwards. So, is it that way round? It is. That's it. So that is the top. And that in effect is our box done, look. Okay, so I'm going to put the ribbon on. So the ribbon, I've got a couple of different ribbons just to show you where the ribbon goes. Different widths. If you've got a wider ribbon, you will need to make a bigger hole. All sorts of decorations. And then the top, you could decorate it however you want. I, on my original one, did a flower. So you put your ribbon through there, then you put it through there. Oh. Shouldn't be too tricky because you've got quite a big hole, and that just comes through there. Then whatever you put in here, so should we put those back in just so it holds it closed? Just in there like that. So that the weight of that holds the ribbon down, and then you bring that round like so, tie it up like that, make your bow, and then cut your ribbon to size, and voila, you've got your box. Let me tie this one back up and show you the decoration on the top. So, oh, we had a bit of a wobble in the middle, didn't we? But we've got there. So, which do you prefer? Can you see on here, I've put a vellum square, a navy square to go with the navy card, and then I've just made this lovely flower to go on the top. And I think that just finishes it off. So, we've got one in yellow and one in navy. Ta-da! I hope you've loved this as much as I've enjoyed doing it. I think it's best that you do warts and all when you do these videos and don't edit them all out. I went a little bit tricky with the wrap round, but I explained how you can get yourself out of that. And the bottom of the box, the reason that we do the fold upwards is so that you can store it flat, make ahead of time and store it flat, and that folds up. And if you put the tabs on the bottom, then the inside of your box will look nice and smooth and lovely. So there you go, happy crafting. Thank you for watching. If this is something that you've liked to see, please subscribe, and I will catch up with you very soon. Happy crafting!